Hello there, welcome everyone to the new part 10 of my Undertale Deltarune Fangame tutorial series. If you want to know what happened to the old parts 10 through 12, please see the start of part 13. This episode will go over adding the dialogue system to our Fangame. I really do apologize that it took so long to get this video out. It's mainly due to school, but also just my general mental health and being very busy and, having family visit and just a lot of stuff. I wrote this script like well over a month ago, and I'm only recording it now, so yeah. Because of this, I will just be showing how to import the dialogue system, not like a step-by-step how to implement it. I'll explain the code after I show the import, and then I'll explain how to use it. And I will start off by showing how to add the system as early as part 4 and then for later parts. And I repeat, it is okay to implement the system as early as part 4 if you so wish. Just please make sure to come back to this video after you catch up with part 14. I will show the choices for a system and also save menus in the next video, which will be the new parts 11/12. I will soon after post a part 0 that will cover over stuff that I've forgotten or should have at the start of the series. Anyway, I recommend that everyone take a look at that, even if you've made it this far. Now, let's get started. Alrighty, so to start off, I will be showing how to implement the system as early as part 4, and then I'll have on screen right now the timestamp if you're on the latest part. But anyway, to start off, I'm just gonna show that I am using the earliest possible version that I have access to here. So I'm just gonna download the source code like this, save it to my desktop. I'll call it part 4. There we go. So let me extract this so that I have access to the project. Okay, now here is the project file here, and let's open it up. Okay, and if you see this for whatever reason and you're not using the LTS version of Gamemaker, just ignore it. I don't know why it's telling me that. But anyway, okay, and now that we're in the Gamemaker here, we can go ahead and import the stuff from the NetDS 1.0 thing that I have linked in the description. We're going to open that up, and just so you can see, I have all these YYMPS files in here, which are files that Gamemaker uses to import like stuff that's other people have made so that you can use it. So you just want to go to Tools, Import Local Package, and we're just going to go top down here. We're going to start with animation curves. So let's import those, and we're going to add all. And yep, just make sure that all looks good. Click Import. Okay, and then for the font stuff, this is stuff you're going to have to you just need to double click the TTF files and then import those by clicking install. And I have Comic Sans, Greater Determination Mono, Sans, and Papyrus. If you are watching this earlier on in the series and I ever say to use fonts that aren't Greater Determination Mono or Sans, don't listen to me. Use these ones because they're slightly more accurate and have better character support. But anyway, the Japanese font is here, and Sans's Japanese font is gonna be this one, except this is just a trial version of it. So unfortunately, it's not gonna be the actual full thing. If you want to actually get the full version of that, I have a little thing here. Sans's Japanese font is Happy Ryuka 07 by Yutaka Sato. The trial version for Windows and Mac that I linked doesn't support all characters and isn't fully accurate. You can buy the full version here, and it's about $14 USD as of May 2026 when I had pretty much everything done, but then get the video out.
Anyway, you can click this, and that's the link to buy it. And a free alternative font you could use is Soe Kaku Paptai, which was his original font they were going to use for the Japanese translation, which I have also linked. They ultimately did go with Happy Yuka, but HG Soe Kaku Paptai is right here for you to use. It's not quite the same, but I'll show you how to import that anyway. So once you import all the fonts that you're going to use, you're going to need to restart Gamemaker so that it can actually recognize those fonts. And then we need to go to our fonts folder here and create the fonts. So first we need our fonts main, and this is going to be greater determination mono. So we're going to type, you can just press G on your keyboard and it'll take you to all the G fonts. We're going with mono. We need to turn anti-aliasing off so it's nice and clear pixels, right? Okay, and the font size is going to be 9, just like that. Okay, and once you have our first font here, we're going to create fnt underscore main underscore sans. This isn't Sans' font, this is just greater determination sans, which is just what it calls the non-monolith version of the font. So again, we want anti-aliasing off, size 9, like so. Then let's create a new font. fnt underscore, I'll call this main underscore JP for Japanese, and this will be our Japanese font. And if you use the jf.shinonome Gothic 14 font that I linked in the font download, or in the download for NutDS, the fonts, the correct size we're going to want after we turn off anti-aliasing, of course, is 10.5. If you download, if you find a different download for this font online, there might be a different font size you need to use. But for this specific version that I linked, it's going to be 10.5. Anyway, so after we have our main Japanese font, let's add Sans' font, fnt underscore comic underscore sans, like so. And we're going to set the font size to 14, anti-aliasing off, and we're just gonna type C and find Comic Sans, not Microsoft. We just want normal, just no Microsoft Comic Sans, like that. All right. Then we are going to create fnt underscore jp underscore Comic Sans, like so. And make sure, I realize the naming's not completely consistent here, but you're gonna need to change what the code refers to the fonts as if you name them differently than I have them here. I probably should have just done them more consistently, but I didn't think about that. So, whoops. Anyway, HG Soe Kaku Paptai. We're just gonna set that to 48 actually, and keep anti-aliasing on. And there we go. Again, it's not exactly Sans' Japanese font, but it's close enough if you don't want to pay the $14. Then we want to have Papyrus's font, fnt underscore papyrus. And this is, just going to find Papyrus here, like that. And set the font size to 13, anti-aliasing off. Okay. And make sure it's the Papyrus that we downloaded, not like the actual normal Papyrus font that might be on your computer. Okay, and now that we've added all those fonts, let's go ahead and continue importing stuff. So we've done animation curves, fonts. Now, lang file sample. If we actually go ahead and go over to our lang file sample thing here, you'll notice a few .lang files, which .lang is just it's just a JSON/text file. You can open this with Notepad or anything. It's just to make sure you know that it's the language files for the game. If I open up the sample en.lang file here, you'll see that it just contains all of the text that we're going to be using in the game. So here we have our fallback message. Or if the game fails to retrieve the text that it's looking for. we have the title of the game that will be displayed at the top. This isn't like, I'm not going to show to implement this in this video, but in the future, this is what's how that's going to be shown, at least the default title. You can obviously change it throughout the game. Anyway, the asterisk, which this is really going to be used just like, I would leave this unless you know you're doing the Japanese translation where it has a different character for the asterisk. Anyway, and this is just the uppercase alphabet and lowercase alphabet for easy access. If we ever need that, we can just reference this text and just yes, no, yes, no. This is going to be used for choices, and this is going to be the default text right here for when you create a text box but don't assign any text to it. This is just going to be the default, of course. And then so that's all system stuff, and I'll explain how it's like what all this like means and how to add new things in a bit. But for now, just know this is all just system text. This isn't like dialogue. Here under dia for dialogue is going to be our dialogue, and here we have rooms. So this is all going to be text that shows up in like the different rooms of the game when you interact with NPCs and objects and stuff. So we have room test waterfall, which is if I go to my rooms here, this is this room. So anything in here is going to be text that I am able to reference within this room. For example, I'll be able to put like a interact box on this bed here, and in the thing I'll say bed, and then when you go to and then the code will search for within the room. The text is its ID is bed, right? Anyway, so this is just like a sample little thing here. I'll explain how it all works in a second, but just know that's what that is. I have here the text that you will need to put into your game to have its TV time show up, like how Tenna does it. But I'll show that in a bit too. And that depends on having the actual graphics for it into, which we'll import in a second. I have a README here that just has some information. Yeah, you can edit the text files, the lang files with any text editing program, and you want to use jasoneditoronline.org if you need help getting the syntax for the JSON files right. There's just a button that you can click and it should fix it for you, which I'll show how that works in a bit. And yeah, sometimes non-English characters might not show up right, even if it thinks that it's in UTF-8. You just gotta, convert to UTF-8. You can probably just look up how to do that online for your specific text editor. For Notepad++, you go to encoding and then click convert to UTF-8, even if it already says this, because sometimes it's just weird. I don't know. And I just have some stuff here if you want to read that. And this is just like, make sure you don't have any duplicate names and stuff. But anyway, and I included a sample file if you'd want to look at, or another sample file. This is, what I have for, my game, just testing it out and stuff so far. This is what it looks like. And this just looks like a lot of text, like a lot of black lines. I'm like, oh, what am I even looking at? If you're in Notepad++, like me here, you can go to language under J and go to JSON, and that will make things a lot more readable just by giving it some colors. And I would just recommend being in that mode if you're like editing it, just so you can like make sure it's all working. And like, and tell if it's working if the colors are right by having like the IDs purple and the text red, but we'll go over that in a minute. Anyway, so you can see this looks a lot more readable. Anyway, again, we'll go over all of like how all that stuff works in a bit. But anyway, these are all just the sample lang files. So actually what we want to do is go open up our project folder where we have our game. And so you want to go to data files and create a new folder called lang. And this will be where we store all of our text in the game, all of our language files. You can just either copy paste or drag and drop this into that folder. So we're going to copy english.lang and paste it. Or you can, have whatever other language you need. But for now, we'll just do English. And yeah, I'll show like how adding different languages works in a minute. It's really easy, which was the goal of me adding that. So anyway, that's that part of the import process. Now we're going to import again. We're going to go to objects, and we're going to import all of the Nut.js objects here, add all. And you can see, just make sure this all looks good. Depending on where you are in the series, you might already have some of these, and if so, you can like uncheck it maybe. But if you're this early on in the series, like part 4, just add all, import, and yeah, just if it says you might be replacing something, just replace all, or keep all if you know for certain that it's like not going to be an issue. Anyway, then import. Next up is the scripts, which we can just import here. Add all. You can take a look at like what all the different scripts are if you're just curious real quick. Have a look at that. Let's import. Then we have sounds. So let's import all of these. This is going to be all of Tenna's like sounds that he has for his images. So yeah, let's just import that. Then we want to import all text sounds that characters can make when they're talking. You can see we have all of Gaster's different sounds, Metaton, Temi, and Senna there. Since they have like multiple sounds that they randomly choose between. And here's all the sounds for everyone else. This is only up to chapter 4. I didn't add chapter 5 to this because it was not out when I made all of that. Anyway, time to import all the other sounds that we're going to be needing for this. See here. I just have some sound silent, select the phone sound, and this is just the Vine Boom sound effect because I think it's funny to use it in the dialogue system. But anyway, because you can have sounds within text, which is very fun. But anyway, after our sounds, we need our sprites, and this is going to be our final imports here. Yeah, so let's import all this, add all, and you can see this is just some stuff for like the interact laser. And here, this is this should be already imported, but this is the spam fry sprite I use to represent the center object, which is just an object. I show it in one of the later tutorial videos, but it's always at the center of the screen. It just makes it really easy to reference the coordinates of the center of the screen. And here's all the UI stuff. Yeah, you can see there's like the Soul menu sprite, which we haven't released yet, outside of just like the menu. But yeah, so we have all this stuff. The text glow, so you can make human I remember your genocides text boxes if you need, and you can color it in the dialogue system. I'll show that in a bit. Here's all the portraits that I just have imported by default. Obviously, that's very incomplete. You can have custom images here. Tenna's images should already be imported, but I also have this one just for fun. So yeah, let's import all of these, and I'm just gonna replace the stuff that already exists because it's the exact same. It doesn't matter. And there we go. I believe just yes. All of Tenna's text images we need to add here. Okay, I forgot that we didn't import that. I was thinking of his sounds, but just let that load and it should import all good. All right, add all. You can see we have all of Tenna's stuff here under the images. Yeah, so this is all the like normal, just static images. Like they're animated using animation curves, but the images themselves, the sprites are static, and then you have the animated ones here that are actually animated, and here's all the Japanese ones and the animated Japanese ones, and this is its TV time, all of its parts. So yeah, just import. All right, there we go. And we have everything all imported. If you want to just double check, you can definitely just go in and make sure that everything did indeed get added. You know, you can play it, and there you go. That is animating right. If you want anything from the new chapters or for Undertale, just go to the spiders resource and like find that, and then go to sounds if you need any of the new sounds. You know, sound effects chapter 5. You can extract and view contents, and then just like go and find the text sounds. You can probably search like TXT, right? Yeah. You know, if you need weird route, Noel, echoey text sounds, you can go use that. Or if you need flowery sound effects, I'm sure those are here, or maybe not yet, but I'm sure they'll be here soon, if they're not there yet. Oh wait, yeah, okay. You know, it doesn't seem like, as of me recording this, all of the sound effects have been added, but I'm sure they will be very, very soon. So anyway, that's that. So now there are some settings we actually need to go fix. I'm just gonna close this for now to keep it not cluttered on the side of the screen there. Okay. Let's go to the settings. Actually, if you don't already, make sure your FPS is 30. I think I meant to do that at the start of the series, and then I didn't click save or something, so that never applied. So all of the values and stuff are not exactly gonna be accurate, you know, for walk speed and run speed and stuff. So apologies about that. I'll, you know, show how to fix that, like just like, you know, a kind of hack job fix in this video, but in future parts I'll like show like actually like, you know, how we're gonna fix everything. But for now, just set that to 30, and then go to any of the platforms you plan to release the game on, and you want to click disable file system sandbox, which this will actually let us access our Lang files. This is very important. Wait, first up here, make sure to click apply, and then also down here, click apply after that. Graphics, make sure this setting's turned off if you don't already, and then click apply. But yeah, that should be it for the settings. Just, you know, if you're planning to export to like all these different platforms, you make sure the two settings I just showed down there are like I just showed. Anyway, now that we have the settings done, we're actually going to need to find the player object here, and we're going to rename it to object main Kara, just because of like, you know, in the meta narrative, the player and, you know, the character you control as are different, and this is just how Undertale and Deltarune refer to the character you control to as in the code. And yeah, if that doesn't automatically rename every instance of object underscore or just like player, right, to main Kara, you can press Control Shift F or Command Shift F on Mac and search player and replace main Kara. And then just click replace all, and you can see everything it changed, which it looks like it did. Yeah, sometimes I think it like will actually replace it for you just when you rename it. Sometimes it doesn't. Always go to just like, you know, Control Shift F and make sure that everything does get replaced if you ever change something like that. But anyhow, now we need to go back to our thing, and we are, oh wait, I meant this here, and go to the code to copy paste.txt. So we are going to look at this here, and let me scroll up to the top here. So there's a lot of code that we're going to need to copy paste. Again, I'm going to explain everything at the end, but just for now, I'm going to be showing how to add it. So yes, we are going to need to create an object called object initialize. So in under func here, we're going to create object, and we'll call this obj underscore initialize, right? And this will just help us initialize a bunch of, you know, values and everything that we we'll need. But for now, all we're going to need for it is this, and then since you're watching the part where you're not caught up with the rest of the series, we're going to need to also add this. Okay, and so let's copy this and paste this. All right, a few things we're going to need to change here. So first off, as you can see here, this is my own game path. Please change to your own. So anyway, if you're on Windows, you want to change username here to whatever your username is. For whatever reason, Windows doesn't like the last E in my name, so I'm just gonna change this to NOEL, right? And then from there, just wherever you have like just whatever the rest of the file path here is what you're gonna need to put here. So honestly, you can just copy everything after your username and paste it like that. Okay. And so a few things to note, every time there's a backslash, and make sure you're using backslash, it's not forward slash, a forward slash. Make sure you have 2 of them, and do that, just at every part like that. And yeah, just make sure that data files is under the folder that it actually is. For example, you see I have in my thing here, data files is, I'm in the disappearance in Rizzy Pants folder, and under that we have data files, right? And yeah, this disappearance in Rizzy Pants data files, right? Anyway, so, and then, just have the rest of this stuff, right? And then once you have that done, you can delete that. If you ever send your project to like a friend or something, or like on a new computer, or you just move the location of the project, you will need to update this so that it matches. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, you're going to be getting errors that it couldn't find the JSON file. That being the .lang file, because it is just a JSON file with a different name. Anyway, and on Mac, it's going to be exact same thing, except you don't need 2 backslashes. You only need 1 forward slash for each folder thing, just because of how Mac handles, folders and stuff. And on Linux, I'm sure you could figure out how to do that. Same thing. Just like copy paste the Mac one and change it so however, Linux file systems, file structure is. But anyway, then we're gonna need to go down here. You can ignore all this. This is, if you haven't gotten to the parts where I talk about that, don't worry about that. Just let it be. Anyway, room go to, this is gonna be the room you start in. So we're gonna say rm_test waterfall for me, just because that's the room that I've been starting in for this thing. And what we're going to need to do now actually is, since we're actually starting in the waterfall room, what we're actually going to need to do is create a room where this initialization object is going to do everything. And we're just going to call that room_initialize, like so. And then on the side here, we're going to click it and drag it to the very tippy top to make it the room with a little house next to it, which means we're going to start in this room. Then we just drag object initialize in like that. Literally anywhere is fine. And yeah, that's all we need for that. Now if we go back to our code to copy paste.txt. So this is gonna be items and stuff, but if you haven't done items yet, you don't need to worry about that because you haven't implemented it. Just come back once you have added items to add all of that stuff. Then, this is all sell stuff. You won't need to worry about that. If you haven't done shops yet, you don't need to worry about that, obviously. So just come back and watch the second part of this video where I talk about, if you are caught up, how to add all that stuff. Okay, and here is the object_main chara stuff that you're going to need to add if you are not caught up to the series, which we are not in this scenario. We're on part 4. What we're going to need to do is in the create, we're going to add these 2 lines. We can just go down like this. Also, just like double everything here. Also the point stuff doesn't matter, I don't think. Yeah, just do that, and that should hopefully make you walk at the normal speed. We did half the FPS. Only do this if you weren't already, if you weren't already at 30 FPS. If you were already at 30 FPS and you already found walking values you like, do that. For now, this is just like a quick fix, right? But anyway, now we want to go back to our copy paste code here, and in the step we are going to just copy this and replace all of this here like so, and then we need to copy all of this, and we are just going to paste that at the very bottom of the create event here. And if this is grayed out, that's fine, it does exist. If you restart Gamemaker, that will probably make it not be grayed out anymore. It doesn't matter if it is or not, because we know that the object does exist, it just hasn't recognized it yet. But yeah, that should be it for all the code and stuff we need to copy paste. Okay, and right before we continue, it's very important that we actually add in our initialize room, the rest of the objects that are going to be helping us do stuff. So we have our center objects, which you can just like place anywhere. Which remember, this will help us keep track of the center of the screen. Then we just need to add in the dual input checker, which again, this won't be seen as Papyrus's computer in a game. This is just for debug purposes. We can see this, right? It doesn't show up in game. And then yeah, that's all we need there. And yeah, so now at this point we can make sure we save, and then we can run the game to make sure we don't have any errors. And if you do have any errors, just go back and make sure you followed everything exactly as I showed. So let's play this, and you can see I am now playing the game, and everything is working, except actually the window is not as big as it should be. And that's because you actually need to set up viewports in the initialize room, which I forgot to do. Yeah, just as we did before, click enable viewports to make sure viewport 0 is visible. And then, just set this to your desired resolution. If you want to just double check what you had before, go to one of the other rooms where you had it, and see, okay, 1280 by 960, right? And then paste that. This is the resolution Deltarune runs at when it's windowed, so that's what I'm having here. Undertale is half of that. Now let's run that, and that should be hopefully better. And here we are, great. So now to actually add our dialogue in the game, let's go to the room. So to add dialogue, first off, as I mentioned before, we need to, under the room section here, we need to have the name of the room we want, right? And then we need a colon, and then we need some brackets, and in the brackets, then we can have the name of the interaction we want, which I'm going to shorten the bed one to interact_bed. And then I'll explain, this is just the dialogue, but for now I'm just going to show you what it looks like adding new rooms to have dialogue for. So for example, I want dialogue in Papyrus's room here, right? So I'm going to go to my text editor here, and then I'm going to add a comma after another room if there is one. Then I'm going to press enter, and we're going to add quotation marks for the name of the room, and this is rm_paps, right, like that. Then we add a colon, and then I like to have a space here, and then we need our curly brackets like that, and we're going to indent like this, add some space. You can add space like that if you want, or you can just keep it like this, whatever you prefer. Okay. And then all we need to do is add the name of the interaction we want. Say I want dialogue for interacting with the box here, right? I can say, so we want quotation marks for the name, and we're gonna call this interact underscore box, right? And then we're gonna have a colon, and then, now I need to actually explain what all these brackets here are for. Okay, and so every time we're gonna add new dialogue, we need to have two brackets here and two brackets here. And in the brackets, we need the string we want to show. And the reason we need all the brackets is because, within each box of dialogue, there can be, and I'll have an example on screen here, either, just one line of dialogue. For example, it says, it's a box, right? But we could also have two lines of dialogue within like one singular like page of dialogue, right? And that in that case, we're going to need like another string that says like, it's so cool, right? But you'll notice there's like an asterisk to the left of it because it's like a separate line. And to contain each of these like different lines of dialogue within one page of dialogue, we need these brackets here, which contain each like page, for example, right? But then if these are lines, like each quotation marks string here, and then they're contained within a page of these square brackets here, then we can think of the outer brackets as like the binding, cover of like a book, right, to hold all the pages. And obviously a lot of the time we're going to want multiple pages. So to do that, we add a comma after, one page, and then add another page with more brackets like that, right? Hopefully this makes sense. And then to have lines on the page, we need our string, marked by the quotation marks. And then say whatever we want that line to be, just like hello, something random. And hopefully that makes sense where we have our lines and there can be multiple lines within a page like this, or there can just be one. And then you can have multiple lines within, multiple pages within a whole book, right? I hope that kind of makes sense, to think of each like dialogue interaction as its own book full of pages and lines. Hopefully the terminology doesn't confuse, but anyway, that's how you add a new piece of dialogue to the game. And then if you need another one, you add a comma to the end of the last one within the room here, right? And we're gonna call this interact underscore shelf, right? And then same thing before, we need our page, and same thing as before, we need our brackets that will, contain the whole, book of dialogue, so to speak. And then within the book, we need a page. And then in the page, we need a line, right? And then it's just a line, and it's like, yippee, right? And we spell it silly. And then we can have another line within the page and call it and say yippee, but it's spelled differently and has 2 exclamation marks, right? Whatever we want. It's just 3 lines per page, and if you have like a line break, which you add a line break in dialogue, which I'll show on the next page here. So I'll say this is dialogue, comma, or not comma, this is dialogue. And then if we add a hashtag, this will add a line break without adding a asterisk to the left of the line. That is too big for, and then we'll have another asterisk, 1 line period, right? And so this sentence alone will take up the entire page because it has, it takes up the space that 3 lines would take up, right? So just keep that in mind. You can only have up to 3 lines per page, or 1 line that's the length of 2 lines, and then 1 that's the length of 1, or just 1 singular one that's the length of 3. Right? So anyway, just keep that in mind. As a reminder, you can click up here if you're using Notepad++ and click JSON, and this should make it a bit more readable, hopefully. And anyway, if for whatever reason like you have some kind of syntax error, or like you are missing a thing there, or you're missing a comma, and you like are trying to run the game and it's like giving you an error, and you don't know why, you can always press Control A, copy it, go to the website that I linked on the in the README there, and if you paste this here, it will recognize where you have your mistakes, and then you can click, oh, show me where the error is, right? And you're like, says expect a comma but got this, right? Well, this is probably because it's not always going to be the exact line where it tells you that it is. In this case, it's like right above it. So just look in the surrounding area of it, and then add the thing you need, right? And then here it's like, oh, expect a comma, right? Oh, well, up here we don't have the comma, right? All right, and sometimes it will be able to actually auto repair your errors. So for example, we forget a comma, that's one it can easily just auto repair. You click auto repair and it should fix it for you, and you can copy and paste it back in your language file here. But yeah, that's how you add the dialogue to the game. So anyway, now that we have our, we already have our bed interact dialogue here, so we can go to our game here and go to the waterfall room where we want to add our thing. And we just go to dialogue and objects interact, and we are going to, and you can have the grid on or not, it doesn't matter. We're going to drag this over the area we want to be able to interact with. Double click on it, click creation code, and all you gotta do is say dia equals, and then the name of the dialogue, which is going to be interact underscore bed, like so. And real quick before we do anything else, just make sure you, in your objects, create an object, just call it obj underscore menu. Don't do anything with it, just have it created. Also, make sure you delete all of these left, up, and down, right, left, right, up, right, left, down things here, because here we added code that does that for us. But yeah, otherwise it's not going to work. But now if we go up here, yes, a bed, and it's all working right. Perfect. And if we go in here, well, actually we need to first go to Papyrus's room and actually add our text boxes. So let's turn off the grid here. We'll add our thing here. Click on creation code. Dia equals. We'll have interact underscore box. Okay, and then we need to add another one for the shelf over here. Let's add this like that. Creation code. Dia equals. And then we'll call it interact, or not call it. We already called it interacts shelf. But yeah, we just gotta reference that. Okay. Yeah. And anyway, before we go into the new room, we actually need to make sure we update all of our spacing values, because actually later in the series we change it from using numbers to just the words. So facing there is going to be instead of 3 up, and you can do Control Shift F and type facing to find every instance of the word facing and just go through and make sure we are using all the right values now. Yeah, like just go here and just to right. This is going to be left, down, and it's up. yeah, here, make sure it's down. You know, again, in every warp object you have, you're going to need to make it the right values. So here, this is going to be down like that. Also, for whatever reason, I had to adjust the warp hitbox here just so it would, I could actually use it. I don't know why. Just if the warps aren't working for you, make sure you might need to pull the hitbox out a bit more. Okay, and it's very important that we actually save our lang file before we actually try to place interact objects within our rooms, because otherwise it's going to be trying to access you know, the name of the room within the lang file, but if we don't add it, it's just going to return an error, right? So definitely make sure you add the room, and after you add it, that you save it. I don't think you need to add anything just for it to work. So we have a text box here that I added. And if I go up here, there we go. We don't have any problem. It should just have the default text. There you go. Yeah. And so now that it's not crashing, which it will again if you don't add your room and save the file. Very important that you get in the habit of saving your text file every time you edit it. Now we can add, you know, the dialogue we want. We'll just call this interact box, and I will add a piece of dialogue here called interact underscore box, and then remember we need to have our first set of square brackets for the whole book of dialogue. Then we need our page of dialogue. And in our first page of dialogue, we'll have a line and it will say, it's a box, right? Now if we save that and run, it should work. There we go. Yes, and so now that's all working. Yeah, so that's pretty much everything we need to do to just like add the system. If you would like to have your text boxes use the dark world style of text, what you want to do is click on Objects Interact, and you want to find where it has SCR text box around here, TXTB. And so what we want to do is, if you want to make it a dark world text box, add dark world underscore DW for the end here, and that will make it the dark world style of text box. So let's try this. If we go over to the bed, now it's dark world style. If we go up here and interact with the box, you see it's the dark world style of text box. You can see it has the animation in the corners here, and the text has a shadow, so that's what we want. Now there's also the transparent style of text box, so we're going to change dark world to trans here if we want it to show the transparent style text box that we see at the start of chapter 1 with the intro sequence with the car. And there we go. You can see it's the transparent text box style. Right. Go over here. It's transparent. And this is probably best to use on brighter backgrounds. And finally, if you look in our scripts here, we have a script for none. So if we would like to show dialogue without any text box behind it, we can replace trans here with none. Okay, and once we've made it none, if we hover over the script here, we'll actually see that it takes the input of the text that we want, which is, you know, lines, the lines of dialogue. Then it wants the X offset and Y offset from the center of the screen to display the text. So let's say we want it 50 and 50, just as an example. You can obviously change the X and Y coordinates as you please. So if we just do this, we should see it is now offset from the center of the screen, and you can see it is. If I go over here, it might be more obvious. Yeah, like that. So yeah, that's how you display text without any background to it. And if you want to make it the dark world style with no background, you just do comma, and then you're going to type dark as a string. And make sure you do the same for the default text, dark. And like that, it now has the dark world text style, right? But by default, it'll just be light. You can also type light if you just want to be extra clear about it. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to keep that as the default, like that for now. And yeah, that's all there really is to adding it if you're doing it in this part of the series. After I show how to add it for when you're caught up with the series, I'll show all the different commands and like effects you can do. So skip to the time code on screen if you're ready for that.